We're a little early, but that's all right. Let me make sure I got my mics all synced up. Let's see. Microphone. Let's get to the, where's that? Come on now. Come on now. Ah, there we go. Mic Mini. That should be a little bit better sound. Let's see. We got a couple of people. Hey, Cindy. Hello, Christina. And hello, Starla. We're a little bit early right now, but here we are getting ready to do the thing. And I'm just cleaning up a little bit while I was waiting to get going. All right. So tonight, hopefully, we might turn something. Hey, Joe. How you doing? Hey, Larry. And then hopefully we'll get this thing fixed. There are a couple bearings right inside here. One in here, one in there. And it runs this shaft right here. This belt here is being run by this motor down here. So it comes up and turns this roundy so we can drive. Let me get that live center out of there first. There we go. We'll put that over there right now. Hello, Rachel. How big what was? The lathe? Yeah, it's probably, let's see how big it is. The lathe, this is a mini lathe, by the way. There are many that are much larger. But let's just measure from there to there. That's 31 inches, 33 if you go all the way to the edge, and probably 34 if you add that little angled part over there. It's probably about, 9 inches deep. And it's probably, or it is, 18 inches tall. So, you know, it's a nice piece of gear. Works really well. But, and you know, when you're seeing me, all you're seeing me is looking down with this camera right here. And I've got this over here. And this is moved over to there. So all you're really seeing normally on the live is just this section right there. So this little camera here, can you see that one? Let's go up, see if we can see that. Let's see, we got that? Yeah, well, it's not quite there, almost. So let me get this light out of your eyes there. So this camera here points down at the lathe. I raised it way up and zoomed it in because I kept banging my head on that because I'm standing here like this and that thing's right there. So that's normally what you see is just this little part right there. And of course, got the big TV sitting there as well. So I rigged up another camera to give us a little shot of what we were doing here. Welcome home, Joe. Welcome home. Hey, Trudy, how you doing? So we're going to do a little something different tonight. We're going to, the bearings, I was sitting there turning a couple of inventory pens, just messing around yesterday afternoon. And I can feel it in my hands when I roll it. There's some, feels like there's smooth rocks in here. And not sure if you can hear that, but you should not hear anything. It should be very smooth. So these bearings in here, one of them or both of them is gone or wearing out or something like that. So I got a couple of new bearings in here, and they're these guys right here. And hopefully we have success. I've never done this before, but you know, you can figure anything out if you try. So these are the bearings. And they do wear out over time. And that's what it is. It's a little sealed bearing. Let me see if I get this open here. So this is what it is. This part here rides on the inside of the cast iron, and then this part goes nice and smooth. And it is smooth as can be right there going around. It's not what that feels like there. And when you can hear it through headphones, that's not good. Okay, so we got a couple of bearings, and we'll zoom in over here. I have my strap wrench to break this thing loose right here. I got my Allen wrench to take this handle off, loosen it first, and then we'll undo this pulley right here. And this piece are connected to the red piece, which is driven by the belt, and that should just slide around as we take that key out of there. And then we're going to have to move that shaft out of there this direction there. So let me get this stuff back out of the way, because it definitely does not need to be in our way, that's for sure. Let's see. Yep, all caught up on the comments. All right, so let's get rolling here. First thing I need to do, and Larry, if I do anything wrong, please tell me, because you're probably better at this than I am. I'm pretty mechanical, but I've never done this. Okay, so we loosen those Allen. We don't want to take the and I'll show you what this is when we do it, but these two things here keep this clamped to the wheel. So then we'll take our strap wrench, and this is just a friction wrench. So we put it around this thing here, tighten it up just a hair. And then this is reverse threaded. Let me lock it down. Okay, so that was nice. So this thing comes off the end here. It's got 2 hex keys in it, and they just come down and seal against the threads in the shaft, and it is reverse threaded, so you turn it off opposite than you think. And of course, there's nothing in here, just smooth. So you definitely have to use some type of friction wrench to get a hold of that, because there's nothing to clamp on it. You could use a pipe wrench. If you use a pipe wrench, you may damage this area right here, which is very smooth, and you really don't want to do that. Hopefully I'm catching all that good. Hopefully I'm in front of the camera. Let me see how that's aimed there. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll come in a little tighter here, and I'll watch you can see yourself right here on the thing. Yes, it's left-hand thread. Yes, sir. I'm going to get a new phone maybe Friday. Nice. That'll be good. I don't think you have to send me a new friend request. I think you just relog back into Facebook. I do have a hammer here that's going to allow us to push this out. And this is nylon threaded or nylon tapped or tipped. You don't want to pound metal on metal. No bueno. In fact, I may even get a little piece of wood to push against that as well. I've got my snap ring pliers. So when you squeeze these together, they sort of, when you squeeze them, let me see if I can go here. When you squeeze them apart, they go apart rather than the other way that you would normally do a pair of pliers. So these will grab the little snap ring and pull it apart, and then we can take that off. No idea what that looks like on the inside here, but we'll find out soon. I'm going to put these little pieces out of the way. We've already used the strap wrench, probably not going to use it again, so I'll put it over here on my other bench. And we're probably going to use this now. So the other thing we have to do, let me scroll down there. I'll wait for the thing to catch up. We have to pull this up, and this will loosen the belt. Okay, so now we can back up here. Our belt is nice and loose, and that's the drive belt from the motor. Okay, we are locked in now. And I think we got to take this thing off here. So let me take that lock off of there. We've got to spin this around. We've got to take this hex key out of here and loosen it. That sits in a groove, so it's pretty easy to do that. And that should, now see, this goes back and forth really nicely. Yeah, there's a bearing right there and a bearing right there. So we'll have to get this thing out somewhere. So I'm going to grab a little piece of wood here, because I really don't want to pound against that metal, even with nylon. Here's a piece of gym floor. It's maple. Maybe we'll turn these into pens one day. It does have a pretty nice little figure in there. It's pretty cool. Hopefully I'm showing this in the right angle here. Okay, so here we go. Is it coming out? It doesn't seem like it's moving a whole lot. Let me move this camera back a hair. Nothing should be keeping it in there. It should be coming out. Actually, you know what? I'm probably going to bang this thing right off the table here. So, and I would imagine that all that energy is going into the lathe. So let me grab a clamp. See if I can do this. We'll get back up just a hair. My leg is coming loose here. Okay, here we go. Sorry for the dizziness. So what I want to do is clamp this thing down. Ah. All right, that lathe should not move now. And hopefully we're doing the right thing. If not, I'll have to get... Okay. It's moving. All right, so then we're going to come back in here a little bit. I guess it gets a little tighter as you get further down the shaft here. Hey, who's knows? Maybe I'm just breaking it. Boy, I tell you, if that's the truth, Larry. Ouch. Well, it's still moving, so that's a good thing. This thing is slowly going that direction. It's got to come out that way somehow, you know, Larry. Okay, we just put it all the way back in. This is moving nicely here. And as I look at the illustrated parts breakdown, I'm going to take this belt off the bottom here, just to get it totally loose and make sure I'm not missing a... Nope, there's no more set screws in the middle, so we're okay there. I may have to... You mean push? No, I can't push it out the other way, Larry, because look at this thing here. Let me get it in here super tight. See this piece right here? This piece won't, I don't think you can push it that way because you'd never get it through this pulley here. So this is the smaller piece of the putty. It may just take brute force, I guess, right? I don't know. I mean, let me push that up a little bit. There we go. You may be right. I don't know. Man, it gets to that point right there and it doesn't want to move much. Still rotates fine. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this little meter down right there. I don't want to accidentally break it. I do have a gear puller, but I'm not sure that's going to help there very much. All right, so we'll drop that down there. There's a little spacer in there that we'll have to put back on when we're done. Whew, sweating already. I couldn't figure out how this thing came off here. It seems like it's part of it. I didn't see any threads. So I'm guessing that's not going to come off, even though it's got this angled area there. I'm not sure what that's for. Do I have to go back and forth 10 times just to make sure it's right? You know, here's what the problem is, Larry. There are snap rings inside here. So how do we get in there? Oh. That's probably what's stopping it from. No, that would just. All right, so that's all the way back in now. And this definitely moves freely back and forth on there. I don't see anything else stopping it. Because there's a bearing, a snap ring, and a bearing. And I would imagine they would keep that way. I wonder if a gear puller would work. Because gear pullers, do they push, Larry? I don't know how to get those out of there. Unless I take it to a machine shop, maybe Napa Auto Parts store, and they push those out for me or something. Let me think about this for a second before I break something. Worst case is I go buy a new lathe, right? So here's the illustrated. Let me just share that on screen. Show you what we're dealing with. Maybe you'll have a good thought. What's left-hand threads, Larry? That nut that's on there, that big square thing? Are you saying this thing here is a left-handed thread? I don't see any threads on it left or right, but this is a metal gear here that locks that. Let me see. We'll do a lefty tighty righty loosey kind of thing here. See what we get. Because I do have this big old crescent hammer here. Okay, so if I were going to tighten this down, I would go this way. So it means I go this way to loosen it. Yeah, I don't think so, Larry. That thing goes, I think it's either pressed on or part of that piece there. Anyway, let me show you the illustrated parts breakdown, and then you tell me. We may not be successful tonight. Who knows? Let's share the screen here. So this is what we're looking at here. So number 44 and number 45 are not on there because those are extra pieces that come with it. So there's the 1x8 threads there. And then there's that nut right there. And then you got a shaft. And that shaft goes through a bearing, a snap ring, another snap ring, and a bearing. And then, of course, goes through these two things, which are attached to that orange thing there. Then that goes through there and attaches to that wheel there. So this is the thing that we're trying to get out, number 46. And it looks pretty smooth along there, so I'm not sure why it won't come out, because once I get that out, then I can pull the bearings out with the bearing puller. That won't be a big issue, I don't think. But I don't know if those snap rings are keeping those. They may be pressing up against the back of this number 42 bearing here. What do you think, Larry? What do you think, Larry? I mean, I go over Harbor Freight and buy that $600 Bauer right now and be done with it and continue on, which is what I may need to do. And we'll save this one for another purpose once I figure out how to get those bearings out. I may have to take the whole tailstock off and take it to Napa and have them press them out or something. I'm not sure. But what do you think, Larry? Shouldn't that just slide right out? That number 46? Unless it's hung up on those snap rings, because that bearing, this number 42, is not moving. I don't know. So I know the bearing is right here and right there. Yes, I would believe that to be true, Larry. I would believe that to be true. And this little nut right here doesn't really seem to want to move. But I definitely want to get this repaired. I may have to take this whole headstock off here and take it to Napa or something, have them press those bearings out or something. I don't know. Or a machine shop or something. They probably got the fanciest tool in the world. Yeah, if those bearings are pressed in, then I'm probably not going to get them out here, am I? I wonder if that goes in any further. Let's move this up back a little bit here. No, that's not moving. It's pretty much seated all the way it should be now. Oh, dang. Yeah, I don't know, Rachel. I've been reading that manual left and right like crazy, trying to figure out what's going on inside this cast iron right here. I know there's a bearing right here, and I know there's a bearing right there, and that's what it rides on and keeps that shaft straight. I don't know. I wished I did know. Getting the snap ring out will be easier? Absolutely, but the snap rings are inside the bearings. So I got to get the bearings out. And there's no way to get them from this side, and there's no way to get them from this side unless I push the whole thing that way. But then I won't get this nut through this little meter thingy here. It's got to go out that way. I wonder if a hydraulic press just simply pushes it out and all the beating in the world won't do any good. What's a ring plier, Larry? Snap ring plier, you mean? I mean, I got snap ring pliers. I just don't know. Hey, Manuel says there was a tool. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know which tool they use, though. That's what's funny is there's almost really no help in the manual. And none of these things here talk about testing the bearings, like mechanical issues and stuff. Troubleshooting, excessive vibration, work attached to the lathe. Slow the lathe down, add weight to the machine, or check the spindle runout. Face plate chuck not running true. That's not a problem there. Turning tools not sliding. Nope, that's not it. Spur, drive center, live center not holding onto the spindle. That's not it. Tailstock and headstock center not lining up. That's not it. Tailstock hand wheel hard will not turn. Yeah, no problem there. And tailstock binds. It doesn't bind. Lathe does not turn on. Nope, we don't have that problem there. And of course, it has a 2-year warranty, and the 2-year warranty ran out 2 months ago. On all the videos I saw, it seemed so easy to push that thing out. And sadly, there's no snap ring on the outside. That's the bummer. I would put it in file 13. Get snap rings off. It will come out easier. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Larry. I got to get that shaft out because I got the bearings. The bearings are going to be easy, but I'm guessing that that might need to be pressed off with with someone else. So let's do this. Let's put that down there, and let's get see what size Allen we need here. That's too big. That is the wrong one. Man alive. Look bigger than that. That must be metric because that's going back and forth there. And I don't know that if I have metric Allen wrenches, it's an L like that. Too small. Let's try this one here. That's the one there. Well, that loosens it up enough. All right, I loosened that one up. Well, these aren't too bad. I may have to go find a machine shop. Dang it, I hate being down. I got so much to do. Well, at least those aren't overly tight. Let's see. Got some Allen bits here. Dang, it's hard to get off. Okay, let's see, is that the one? Yeah. All right, let's get us a little wrench here. Simple lock washer and a flat washer at the end of that one, Larry. And Rachel, my extra mechanics. Tim, I'll end up down the rabbit hole. Believe me, I was down the rabbit hole the last 2 days. Now, dryers I can fix with my eyes closed. But lathes, you know, I must have watched 10 videos, researched the heck out of everything, and nobody's ever fixed one of these yet on a video. Similar ones, but not this particular one. All right, so those are out. And that tailstock just comes right off. And we've got to we got to take that little screwdriver out there, and that is a Torx bit. Get these bent back around here and get them flat so they go in the drawer. I'm with you, Rachel, because, you know, if I can just get these things replaced, it costs me $20 to fix it. If I need to go buy another one, it's, you know, $700 after taxes and all that kind of stuff, which, you know, is part of the game, if you will. No big deal. We can afford it. We save our pennies as we're going along. Let's see. That's too small. What'd I do with that electric driver? Here it is. Oh, it's got a little nut on the inside of there. Just a nut, nothing else. And a washer on the outside. And this is the little meter that measures how fast the lathe is going. And then we got a drive belt. So we'll take the drive belt off. And really can't take it off because it's wrapped around that shaft down there, so it'll go with it. The drive belt looks great, no wear there. So this is what we get. This is the headstock. And now we will take this to a machine shop tomorrow and see if they can't get those bearings replaced for me. I wish the snap ring were on the outside, Larry. I'd know what to do. But while we're here, let me get rid of this clamp because it's all in your vision here. I'll sit this over here for a second. And we do have a little bit of all the water that gets down in here. And we've got this rust on that bed there, which was underneath the headstock. So we'll grab us an 80 grit sanding block. We'll prepare to put this back together. We will sand this down and then we will wax it. And if anybody's got a machinist friend out there and I'm doing something wrong, let me know. Because I will happily admit it, reverse, and do something better. But I'm guessing that's going to have to be like a hydraulic press. You know, it's funny, Rachel. Funny you say that, but essentially the very first pen that we made, if you cost in all the supplies and equipment that we bought, the first pen cost $3,000. Now, 3,800 pens later, it's not so bad. There, that is all nice and clean now. And before the night gets on, yeah, the lathe I really want, and I have absolutely no reason to have that kind of lathe, is about $6,000. It's silly as all get out. and there's no reason for me to have that lathe. All right, so this is just McGuire's carnauba wax. So we will just put that on there because that is very, very brand new exposed metal, and we don't want that to rust while we're waiting to put it all back together. So that will be very nice now. That looks great. And then we will flip this over, and we got the exact same thing happening on here. So we'll tuck that drive belt down in there, get our sanding block. And you know what? I have not had 1 minute of trouble with this lathe for 2 years and 3 months. So I'm not complaining at all. It has performed magnificently. Oh, that's how that water gets in there, Larry. There's little channels built in there. Interesting. What's up, Kev? Oh, I'm just cleaning up this headstock right now. What's that? No, Larry's in there. Rachel's in there. Everybody's just out watching, checking it out. I mean, everybody's just participating. It might be diamond painting while we're playing here. Cindy is definitely diamond painting. Trudy's probably diamond painting. Joe's just hanging out. Might be making dinner. Or dinner might be over and she might be diamond painting. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit because it's going to go to the machine shop and they're going to do their thing. All right, looks pretty good. Got all the rust off. And we will wax that up too. You guys don't always see this, but I get this wax out and I wax up the bed here so that the tool rest in the tailstock glide gently across it and not get all stuck up. So we'll just coat it really well there. We'll leave it alone. Generally with this carnauba wax is you put it on there, and you leave it sit, let it dry, and then you buff it off. Hey, Joe. No, tuna melts and fries are done. Ooh, no DP tonight. Tuna melt sounds good. I took Carrie to PF Chang's for lunch today. She had some appointments. So I drove her around to her appointments, and then we went and grabbed a lunch. All right, so this is just going to sit here now. I didn't even use the gear pullers. I guess I'm not going to put those to employ this evening because I need a hydraulic press to push those out likely. I bet you that guy will just push that thing with a hydraulic press or has some tool or something that does that. But you can't get that pulley off. We'll just set this up here. You can't get this pulley off without pushing that shaft at least to here. And then you could pull that pulley out. So that thing is, it's in there a bit. It is loose. I want to make sure that thing is loose, but I'm going to leave all the parts there. We'll get to that tomorrow. There's that one there. Where did my Allen wrench go? That's the big one here. Where'd you go, Mr. Allen wrench? Did I put it up here with the Allen wrenches? Is this it? Nope, that's too big. Wonder where that went. It was the little light blue and gray one. Oh, it's here somewhere. I'll find it. I just walked around, laid it down. It's not over here by my laptop. It's not on the other workbench. Your other half isn't a fan of P.F. Chang's. That's okay. We had some honey crispy chicken, and I had the Mongolian beef, and I think I had an egg roll. Can I put what under the leopard scope? What do you want to see under the leopard scope, Larry? Let me know, and I will put it there if I can. I don't know where my little, that's the big one there. Yeah, it's way too big. It's not underneath the lathe. Well, who knows where the heck that went? It's here somewhere. Guarantee. Let's see if this one will fit it. Yep, that'll fit it. I want to make sure I'm all the way out on this Allen key here. Yeah, definitely am. And if I screwed this thing back on, and it's funny, it goes backwards. Yeah, it looks all pretty normal. I guess that thing must be press fit on there pretty well too, even though it moves a little bit back and forth. But there's no other things holding it because this little spinny meter here screws to this gear cog, and this gear cog screws to the orange thing. Huh. Wonder how you'd replace this if you, how would you replace that, Larry, if, or Rachel, if you have to maybe feed it over this shaft over here or something? I don't know. How much we're learning tonight, huh? Anyway, we will get the headstock to the shop tomorrow. We'll leave that laying on its side. There's the other lathe right there that we use as a buffing center. Let me get that up there. That's the one that Kevin buffs everything on. Then we got the Rikon sharpener, and of course other various saws and stuff I've torn out of the corner while I was finding tools. And I have got to figure out where that little Allen wrench went. Oh, is that it? No, that's the big one. Better put that away because I keep finding the big one like 5 times in a row. Okay, I think we're sort of done now, about as far as we can go. Okay, that's those two things there. That goes to this nut right there. I want to put as many little things together as I can so we don't get lost. Well, we know enough to be dangerous, don't we? Hey, Rebecca. The headstock or the spindle? Oh, it won't fit underneath the microscope. Yeah, you're probably trying to see down next to that nut. And when I pushed it out, there's no snap ring on the outside of that nut. If you're looking here, Larry, let's see if I can get this zoomed in here. This big, whatever this nut is, or this piece of the shaft, I'm not even sure why they would put these two pieces on there, but there is no snap ring on the outside of that bearing there. It's on the inside. Same with the other bearing. It's a bearing, snap ring, bearing. So most likely they have to press that whole bearing out at one time and then put those onto the shaft and then press them back in. Most likely. I would guess. I don't know. In this, when I'm looking down here, this shaft looks like it's monolithic to this here, or this nut looks like it's monolithic to that right there. If I could zoom that in even tighter, let me fold these legs up, get it in real tight, see if it'll let me see that there. I'll hold it here for a second to see if we can see that. Hello, Momo. Please look at the side where your left hand is. What does that mean? Momo, we were just attempting to fix the lathe, but I think I got to take this headstock here to a machine shop to have them press these bearings out, because essentially I need to replace the bearings that are in here, and I think it's going to take a hydraulic press and nice firm pressure to push that on out. So we're sort of done here for night. I'm not sure what side you want me to look at, Larry. It says it's a knockout bar accessory that went into one of the parts you already removed. Not sure if that's what you need to knock out the other side. I don't know. I don't have a knockout bar, that's for sure. My gear puller will not pull that off. So I don't know. We're going to find out when I take it to the machine shop, but they're probably better at it than I am. Or we buy a whole new lathe. If that's just the way it goes, that's the way it goes. We'll not cry over spilled milk, that's for sure. It says it's a knockout bar accessory that went into one of the parts you already removed. Yeah, it's probably the headstock, I'd imagine. Because I only took off the handle on the side. The rest of it's still pretty intact. But if it's a knockout bar, most likely the side where the large handpiece, I don't know what that means. The side where with the large handpiece, Larry, I'm not sure. Yeah, the headstock. Yeah, I wish I knew, Rachel. Anyway, we'll cut this one off because we've spent 48 minutes really going nowhere. But that's okay. We're having fun. That's what matters. And you guys have a good evening. And I will report back when I know what the status of the headstock is. Look at the side where the handle is. Handle of what, Larry? The handle of what, Larry? You mean where you move the motor up and down? This here? Yeah, it's not. The Allen wrench not underneath. I laid it down somewhere while I was walking around. There's no doubt in my mind, or I put it in a drawer somewhere when I was looking for something else. If it's not attached to my hand with a lanyard, I'll probably misplace it or lay it down. Looking for something else and didn't grab it, so went to the next one and didn't grab it, and all that kind of stuff. So who knows? Not inside the gear puller box. It's here somewhere. Not terribly worried. Okay. Yeah, come join Crafting and Crime Daily. She'll tell you all about her new store. We live. I'm glad you live, Rachel. So do I. Let's see. Build with me Monday. You too, Tim. Hopefully it's an easy fix, done really fast. Good luck, Tim. Hope you don't have to buy a new one, but oh yeah, all new toys. Yep. We never go downward. We only go upward. Oh, the shiny thing I took off first. Yeah, that's just the turning handle, I guess. All right, everybody. Have a good evening. We will see you soon. Thanks for being here with me and cheering me on. See you around. Bye-bye.